Alrighty. Hey everyone, I'm Hayley Clover, your host of CMO Weekly, the podcast brought to you by our sponsor, Open Fortune. Open Fortune has changed marketing forever by putting ads into fortune cookies that are distributed through 100,000 restaurants in 30 countries worldwide. In a world where consumers are seeing 3,000 to 5,000 ads a day, Open Fortune is helping your brand surprise and delight consumers while breaking through the noise. So thank you to Open Fortune for making this episode possible.
Thanks, Carlo.
Oh God, he's gonna love that. Okay, today I am joined by Liberty, the most beautiful dog, and a pioneer in the lottery space, bringing lottery into the digital age. Tom Metzger is the co-founder and CEO of Lotto.com, the first platform that lets you order real state lottery draw and scratch tickets from your phone. Since launching, his team has delivered over 100 million in winnings to 3 million users and pioneered the nation's first digital scratch tickets. Before that, Tom held senior roles at Scientific Games, Camelot, and Bear Stearns, always focusing on unlocking new ways people can access the lottery. He's also out in public courtrooms and legislatures fighting for lawful courier operations. His mission, to build a more accessible, secure, and responsible lottery ecosystem for the digital age. Welcome to the show,
Whoever wrote
Tom.
that did a great job, because it wasn't me.
It was me. But you've done all of it. I really just had to, reread it. Your dog is falling asleep.
That means she's comfortable. That's good. She's had a long day. It's just so you know, it's the end of the conference, about 4:15 after day one, and Liberty's been working hard since 9, I'd say, at the conference.
I just learned that Liberty travels everywhere with Tom. She has how many miles, sky miles?
750,000 miles.
It's insane. That's more than most people. But that's great. Thank you so much for being on the show.
My pleasure.
I'm
Thanks for having me.
excited to chat because Lotto.com is so cool. I'm somebody that, since I was little, has been obsessed with scratch lottery tickets. It was always a tradition in my family to get them in our Christmas stockings or at birthdays and cards and things like that. So seeing that they're available now on your phone is pretty incredible and feels like the future,
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about how, one, you got into the gaming space and how you even came up with this idea in general.
Sure. So I started my career back in the good old days or bad old days, depending upon who you ask, at Bear Stearns, or the bank formerly known as Bear Stearns. And at the time, we had the #1 gaming bank on the street. So we actually took companies like Scientific Games public. We took Wynn, the casino company, public. We did the big Penn National Hollywood casino merger. So I've been in gaming and lottery since the beginning of my career, so almost 25 years now. And so I ended up, my first job after Bear Stearns was going to work for the chairman and CEO of Scientific Games, a guy by the name of Lauren Wheel, who's a mentor to me and I still keep in touch with. After that, I spent a couple of years at Camelot, the operator of the UK National Lottery. What's important about that 2 or 3 year stint that I did there is that Camelot launched their online, or their digital lottery channel, as they call it, back in 2009.
Oh, okay.
And so I got a very wonderful introduction to how online lotteries should be operated responsibly. But most importantly, what we've seen in the UK is we've seen a market that was 0% digital in 2009 grow to being almost 50% of their sales in 2024-25, with zero cannibalization of the retail channel. So I don't know if this is the next question, but part of our mission is not to cannibalize retail. Retail is the lifeblood of the lottery business. In the U.S., we estimate that the U.S. lottery business is probably about 95% bricks and mortar or land-based, whatever you want to call it. So that's why we're so excited about the fact that the $120 billion U.S. lottery market is only about 5% digitally penetrated.
Yeah.
And so I guess back to your digital. So I've been stuck in lottery and gaming now since pretty much when I was an intern in college.
Yeah.
And always trying to help the industry evolve in a way that's responsible and that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I've never really thought that slot machines were a particularly good diversification for lottery. I think that there's such an untapped player base going back to the 95% retail. And so our mission is, quite frankly, to always focus on bringing incremental players to the lottery. People who either have never played the lottery before because they're not the lottery's target demographic, or for people who it's inconvenient, or for people that don't want to wait in line in a gas station. They want to pump their gas and go. There's a whole litany of reasons why the lottery population or the lottery player base is starting to get older, and it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And so the lottery courier model seemed like the path of least resistance from a legislative perspective, from a regulatory perspective. And then as we got about a year and a half into this business, having come from Scientific Games, which manufactures about 80% of all the scratch tickets in the country, and most people don't know this because you see the $1 billion Powerballs and the $1 billion Mega Millions. People don't think about how big the scratch market is. The scratch ticket market in the US is about 2/3 of the whole lottery market. People are shocked to hear that, but think about it. It's a lot easier to sell one $20 ticket than it is to sell 10 $2 tickets. And also, having spent so much time at Scientific Games, I was familiar with how we did that. So the way we did that was by increasing the number of games available. Sounds simple, but you used to walk into a retail shop and there was 5 scratch games. Now, if you go into a store in Massachusetts, they might have 100 on the wall. Okay, so the ways that Scientific Games is able to be instrumental in growing the scratch ticket market is very much blocking and tackling, having more games available, having higher price points, having higher payouts. So typically a $1 scratch ticket is going to have a 50% payout. And then when you go up to some states, Florida and Texas now even have $100 scratchers. And so as you go up the ladder on price points, you also go up the ladder on payouts. And that incentivizes the player to buy the higher price point ticket and have a better winning experience.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take, you don't have to win $1 million, or in some cases, some people don't come out unless the Mega Millions at $1 billion. And so, quite frankly, for me, $1 million would be life-changing. So, I think that the scratch tickets now have huge jackpots, higher price points, but also more exciting games to play and instant gratification. So I tasked my engineering team with doing the impossible. Our competitors had been doing the traditional draw-based games years before us, and I like to say we were the second mover advantage, but so I tasked our engineering team with pretty much doing the impossible, which is how do we deliver a paper-based scratch ticket to somebody. So we came up with I should give 90% of, it was my idea, I guess, originally, but I should give 90% of the credit to the team that put the technology together, which is that we have a multi-pass process where once you place your order online, you mentioned you live in Oregon and you recently might have ordered a scratch ticket from us. When you order that ticket, you get an email saying, scratch ticket number 0001 with the serial number belongs to you. And so we don't reveal that ticket until after you've ordered it from us. After you order from us, it goes through a proprietary process whereby the ticket is scanned. Then we have a proprietary machine that reveals all of the stuff you would normally scratch with a quarter. And then we run it through the scanner again. Except on the second pass, we now put a digital covering on it, which you would know because you did it in Oregon. It looks exactly like the real thing.
Yeah.
Except now you can reveal the ticket either with your finger on your iPhone or with your mouse on your laptop. And so we've done a great job of simulating that scratch and win. As some states call them scratch and win tickets. It's pretty obvious, you scratch and you win. So we've done a good job of replicating that user process, except with a lot more convenience and a little bit more speed.
Well, I think there's a need for it too, because the amount of times that I've watched somebody buy scratch-offs in store and then literally ask for the person to scan it and just see if they win without actually scratching. It's happened a lot. And I go, man, I feel like that takes a bit of the fun out of it. But like you said, with instant gratification, people are playing to win. So they don't even necessarily need that experience. But now, God, they can do it so much faster if they just want to buy it on their phone.
Sure. And I didn't finish answering one of your previous questions, which is our mission statement is really to never cannibalize traditional retail. So you'll never see Lotto.com put up a billboard that says skip the line at retail, go to lotto.com.
Right.
Okay, we understand that the lottery has a huge customer base, and those people are loyal. The person that goes into the deli in the morning and buys their cup of coffee and a 50-cent pick 3 ticket, and they play the same numbers every day, and that's part of their routine, that's just not my customer.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, that retail customer is probably, our customers are certainly wealthier. They certainly skew younger. They're digitally native. And most importantly, we charge a convenience fee. So I frequently get the question from regulators or lottery directors in new markets we're trying to move into, that how can you tell me that you're definitely not going to cannibalize my traditional retail sales? And I say, well, quite frankly, if you look at our press releases, 90% of the big winners we've had that we've announced, it was their first time playing the lottery, or they hadn't played in 5-10 years, and then they found out that it was available, to order online, and they placed an order and they won, and it's a great story to change their life and all that good stuff. But I guess the point is that our core player is the player who's not price sensitive. If someone doesn't want to pay 50 cents to buy a Powerball ticket, they're going to walk down to the corner store and purchase it. Now, we store the ticket for you forever. If it's under $600, which is the IRS threshold, we pay you immediately. There's some added convenience to using our site, but I've got employees, one of them standing right there, who orders Uber Eats just about every night for dinner.
Yeah.
If it's on the way, I'm going to do takeout, right? And so I think it's very much a generational thing where, it's 2025, and for lotteries to think that, the internet isn't here to stay is a little bit ostrich syndrome, right? So we're very careful that we spend over 90% of our marketing budget is spent on digital channels like Google and Facebook.
Okay.
And those are places that the lottery doesn't advertise. So this sort of all ties into what I was saying before about cannibalization, is that we're advertising the lottery's own products. So we're not advertising Powerball from lotto.com, we're advertising Powerball from lotto.com. And so we're very much an incremental marketing dollars for the lottery. So typically in the US, if you have let's take New York State Lottery does about $6 billion a year in lottery sales, 1% of that is allocated for marketing.
Okay.
Find me any consumer-facing business that has 1% of sales, earmarked for marketing. You can't, right? And so the reality is they need extra marketing dollars, and legislatively, they're not allowed to.
Right.
And where budgets, state budget deficits are going. They're not thinking, spend more to make more. And so even in states that have their own internet lottery, like provinces here in Canada, we're very comfortable spending $20, $50, $100 to acquire a customer and making that money back over the next 6 to 12 months. That's not
hoping
something
they become a loyal
we know.
customer.
We don't hope. We know,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
We've got the tools in our tool belt. We've got CRM. We've got our marketing channels. We've got all kinds of. I don't want us to give away our secret marketing
sure,
sauce.
but know that
but
you're
we know
gonna
that
be
we can.
successful.
We know that we can make our money back, and so we'll spend that money on customer acquisition all day. That's simply not in government's DNA. So we really like to think of ourselves as an additional marketing channel for state and Canada provincial lotteries. And we've got data out the yin yang that proves that we're not cannibalizing. Because my favorite slide, and you can see our deck later, is our demographic slide. Okay, if you look at the age groups, lottery, we know at retail is definitely skewing older now. We're very equally distributed amongst all age groups. We've got even players my dad's age, and so it goes all the way from the coveted 18 to 24 demographic all the way up to senior citizens, and so, some of them we get thank you letters all the time from people who have some sort of who are differently abled who can't make it to the store.
It's just access, even. Yeah,
And so, look, I don't want to say that we're a charity, but quite frankly, Kwaku, whom you've met, is very philanthropically minded, and he said, when I was trying to promote him and get him up through the ranks at lotto.com, he was a little skeptical. He said, I think I want to do something more civically minded. I said, well, we've already generated, I don't know, 150 or $200 million for education in the United States. So what job could you take where you would raise that money for a good cause, like public education?
Right.
And most people don't know this, and I think, not to be critical, but lotteries could do a better job of telling the story of where the money goes.
Well, I was just going to say, is there a place where people can go and find out exactly where the money from lotto.com goes? Because everybody knows that the money from the lottery is supposed to go back to the road systems and education and these specific things, but you never see it.
You can go to every lottery's website. It's in their annual report. It's in their budget submissions.
Have to search for it.
But they don't put it front and center.
Yeah.
Because of their limited marketing budget. That's why I'm not blaming lotteries.
Sure.
They have a limited marketing budget. So if you can only buy one billboard, you're buying the one billboard that says the mega, and you've seen those dynamic signs that change. Powerball jackpots X and Mega Millions jackpots Y, and buy it at the Oregon Lottery in your state, right?
And that's their budget.
That's their whole budget's gone, right? So now in Colorado, for example, our sales are doing great. And do I think that it's a coincidence that the proceeds go to wildlife and natural and state parks and all that, and people in Colorado love the outdoors,
care about
and they buy a lot of lottery tickets? There's most certainly a connection there. In Georgia, if your high school student has a B average or better, because of the Hope scholarships provided by the lottery in Georgia, your kid goes to school for 4 years in in-state school for free. Okay, so and they've told that story in Georgia, and I know plenty of wealthy people who live in Atlanta or Buckhead or wherever, and they go into the lottery shop and they buy a $20 scratcher because they know that $10 or $5 or whatever is going directly to their kids' scholarships. And so connecting good causes, a lot of people are skeptical and they say people just care about the jackpot, and a lot of people in my industry don't believe that resonates, but that's because you're targeting the wrong player. The wealthier, younger, digitally native person cares about where the money goes, and they want to feel like they're doing some good
while they're having fun. Yeah, that's so true.
So it does help me sleep easier at night that I'm traveling around the country, working 14-hour days, but I'm also doing some good. I'm at the best case funding public education, and the worst case keeping taxes low. So either way, I feel pretty good about it.
I love that. Well, and you guys, you're having some fun along the way, like you said, because most of your marketing campaigns do have a humor aspect to them, which I think is really fun.
It's not my fault.
You wouldn't consider yourself funny? Now, is that because your demographic skews younger, or is this because you wanted to bring just a levity to the experience of lotto.com in general?
We have a very talented marketing team. I certainly do not have a hand in picking what our slogans are. I really like Welcome to Whenever.
Yeah.
Because I think that tagline really speaks to the fact that it's 2025 and you shouldn't have to find a lottery store.
Now, Welcome to Whenever.
And sorry, one more thing I want to touch on about jackpots is that, right now we're experiencing something in this country called jackpot fatigue, which is when I was at Scientific Games, we were rooting for the jackpot to go over 100 million. That was a newsworthy event. It was on all the major broadcast news channels, and there were people lining up outside the store for 100 million. As we've changed the prize matrix, as we've increased the price points, jackpots have record set at $1 billion, record set at $2 billion now. The problem is that some people say, well, I'm not getting out of bed to go to the store unless it's over 500 or unless it's over $1 billion. And that's partially the industry's fault for training them. By having those jackpot signs and that being your only form of marketing, you're training the customer to say, all right, well, I'm going to wait for it to get bigger. And so that was why it was so imperative for our engineering team to come up with a scratcher solution, because the scratcher solution is available 24 hours a day, and you don't have to wait for a drawing. So there's that whole instant gratification, I think, plays much more into the younger generations.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Talking about that campaign we're talking about.
I don't know which ad you're referring to. Was it our TV ad?
Well, you had, yes, TV. Yeah. It was, the whole premise of it was that, you can have these kind of bad things happen whenever, but then you buy yourself a lottery ticket and hey, your day might get better.
Now I know the commercial you're talking about. Yeah, absolutely. That's a clever one. Look, I think the nice thing about being in the lottery business, well, there's a couple good things, but the first good thing is that about 80% of the population plays lottery. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking to some of the folks like that were on my panel earlier, it's become really cutthroat, right? You've got 3 or 4 big players who are really doing tons of rewards and tons of loyalty bonuses and all kinds of stuff like that, just to retain their customers and to try and take customers away from their new ones. We're fortunate in the lottery industry that 80% of the population plays the lottery. Some of them know where the money goes, some of them don't. But regardless, anyone can play the lottery. So we have a much wider appeal and a wider demographic that we can market to. And also the fact that it's only 5% digitally penetrated in the US. I mean, it's 2025. It's crazy that any industry would only be 5% digitally penetrated. So that's why that's what keeps me on the road, keeps me fun, and growing the business.
So I was going to say, if we had to look like 5 years into the future of lottery, what can we expect to change? Obviously, like you said, it's becoming a bigger presence digitally. But what else? How do we continue to kind of advance lottery?
I think what you've seen in the last. So in 2011, there was a very important opinion that came out from the Office of Legal Counsel at the federal level. So the OLC came out with an opinion in 2011 that said that every state in the country could sell lottery tickets online, provided that it was intrastate. So every state, federally mandated, every state has a monopoly. New York can't sell in New Jersey, and vice versa. Since that opinion in 2011, you've seen Wall Street analysts and industry experts say, "Oh, we're going to have, of the 46 state lotteries, we're going to have by 2025." They were saying in 2011, where every state's going to have iLottery. I could have told you that wasn't going to happen, but now we have about a dozen states that sell lottery tickets directly online, and we have about 18 or so states that have the lottery courier model, like ourselves and Jackpocket. But also worth noting is there's currently 3 states that have both. And if you put a gun to my head or you ask me to read my crystal ball, I would say that 5 years from now there'll be another dozen states that have, and I think that's a realistic number, maybe 10 states, but that have both iLottery, meaning state-run selling lottery tickets online, and lottery courier. Because, and this is just my humble opinion, but iLottery is very much cater to their existing customers. So every lottery in the country has what's called a rewards app, where you can turn in non-winning draw games or scratch tickets for points towards like winning a lotto t-shirt or something like that. When an iLottery launches in any state, the first group they target are the 500,000 players that they have on their rewards club. Okay, so you can't tell me that iLottery doesn't cannibalize retail just a little bit, because it does, but I'm also very biased. But anyway, the way we market is just very different from the way state government markets. As I was talking about before, they're not comfortable risking $50 or pick a number to acquire a customer and make that money back over time. What we do is just a very different marketing method. The state lotteries themselves, they do a little bit of marketing on their own, but most of their marketing is done by affiliates. I don't know how much you know about gaming. You've been here, you probably learned all about affiliate marketing. So in my opinion, with a 5% digitally penetrated industry and lottery, that to me that's like sort of the last layer. Like you go to affiliates when you've tapped out all the conventional forms of marketing that are less expensive, quite frankly. If you look at states like Pennsylvania and Michigan, they went straight to affiliates, and that's because of the no risk model. And so I think it'll behoove all the lotteries in the country and all the lotteries in Canada to have both their own site that caters to that customer, and to also allow couriers to be a little bit more innovative and a little bit more less risk averse. Okay, and so let us take all that marketing risk, right?
I love that. It's really cool. I want to get into our rapid fire questions round, so I only have a couple minutes left with you. But thank you so much for kind of taking us through all of that. I think it's really interesting. But I also think,
sorry to just hammer it home, but
no, please.
I think digital scratch tickets are also something that, or what we used to call digital scratch tickets, we're just calling scratchers now, but our process of digitally delivering a paper-based scratch ticket, I think is something that lotteries can't do, and it's a huge headache from a technology perspective. and an operational perspective. So I think that's something that that we can certainly can. I don't want to use the word compete because, like I said, we don't compete, but we can certainly differentiate ourselves from your traditional state-run internet lotteries, because when what the iLotteries call e-instants are actually a spinning reel slot game with instant ticket style payouts. So it's not truly a game that you're scratching like this, and so that's why I believe that we're complementary. And so if I had to predict the future, I would say that state budgets aren't getting any better the next few years, and so if they have iLottery, they'll take on Courier. If they have Courier, they'll take on iLottery. That's just my best guess.
That's great. It's a good guess. We'll see. We'll save that clip for 5 years from now.
Right, you'll play it back to me?
True. Yeah, exactly.
That's why my employees did give me a crystal ball that sits on my desk today, because I do make some outlandish predictions.
Oh, how funny. Yeah, you have to start writing them down to see which ones come true. That way you can go back and say, my percentage is about 80%.
I'd rather just choose the right ones to remember.
That's so funny. Okay, rapid fire questions round, just a few, and then I'll let you get on your way. What's your favorite city in the world?
Pre-pandemic or post-pandemic?
Oh, well, post-pandemic, since that's the world we're living in.
Oh, that's tough. I might have to say Miami now.
Okay. What's your favorite city to take Liberty to?
The thing I love about Liberty is she loves every city. When I'm someplace that I'm not happy, she's happy, and she cheers me up.
Love that. In 30 years, what do you think people are going to be nostalgic for?
Not in lottery, in life.
Doesn't matter anything, yeah.
Well, attention span.
It's already getting smaller. It's so true. Okay, if your team had to describe your energy via cocktail, what cocktail would you be?
Probably tequila on the rocks.
Oh, nice. Just straightforward and
very transparent and high energy. I've never been asked that question, but I'll just add
I would be surprised if you were.
I am transparent and I'm high energy, and I'm straight to the point.
Okay. Are there any other, and it doesn't have to be within lottery or iGaming space, any other companies that you're loving their marketing and how they're storytelling right now?
You know, it's tough I'm going to go really offbeat.
Okay.
But I've been using this product called Grassley, which I'm not being paid to promote, but they make organic grass-fed bison products, so like bison liver chips. I'm actually wearing their face balm right now, which is made from bison tallow, and I just like the fact that they're family owned and operated, that they found a niche in the market, because everyone's selling beef tallow now, no one's selling bison tallow, and bison liver is extremely healthy for you. I'm a little bit into like exercise just to keep up with my work schedule. So, so I really like that this homegrown bison company created a whole vertically, I don't know if they're vertically integrated or not, but I think they are, but that they've created this whole line of bison products, and I'm buying it.
I love that. That's really cool. That's it. It's just a couple of questions, unless there's anything else you'd just like to tell people.
No, I don't even. I mean, I haven't done enough homework, but you guys have a pretty diverse listener base. It sounds like geographically, and
we do, and it's a lot of folks that are getting into marketing professionals that have had long careers, and so it's fun to be able to talk to people from all industries and have a different.
What brought you to Canadian gaming?
So because I'm sponsored by Open Fortune, I follow where they go live. So they allow me to use their booth, which is nice. So, I've interviewed people across all industries. So it depends a bit on them for the live conferences, but then do a lot virtually as well. So, we've interviewed people like the CMO of Delta Airlines and MasterCard and Chase.
Cool.
And a lot of folks. So you're within good company.
This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tom. And this has been another episode of CMO Weekly. We will see you soon next week. And if you want to find Tom and follow along with what he's doing and lotto.com, where can they find you?
Me personally, I have a decent presence on LinkedIn.
Okay.
It's under Thomas Metzger, lotto.com.
Otherwise,
that's
lotto.com and go find, and buy your first scratcher on your phone. Amazing.
Order your first scratcher.
Order your first scratcher on your phone. Love that. And thank you, Liberty, for being here. I really appreciate it. Can you show her to everybody?
She's a very, very good patient.
You were very good. Congratulations on your first podcast.